Got it. Yes. Thank you. Recording in progress. Got it. Train of thought. Crazy. All right. Um, one of the things that I would really appreciate you guys doing, and thank you so much, everybody, for coming on today. This is an awesome turnout, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, SDS Brethren, for getting the word out there and getting people online. That's what I was hoping for today. So we totally had this super awesome presentation, like worked out. Marilee did a fantastic job, as she always does. And we still have that available, and we're going to publish that online. I think it's actually published already, so that you guys can go out and look at it. I'll bring it up here at the end just to give you an idea of the information that is in there, so that you're able to go out and use it as like a real reference to help you, to help your affiliates and whatnot. We hope it's going to be a great resource for you today and moving forward. But I decided we are just going to throw it up a little bit and kind of do something different. One of the things that we are seeing with provider enrollment, and you guys are experiencing, are huge delays in processes, right? Processing applications, processing affiliations, processing revalidations. I am acknowledging that because I see it, but I know that you guys are feeling it more so out in the field. So one of the things that we wanted to look at was why. Why are we seeing these types of things? And I'm going to tell you right now, the number one reason why we are seeing some of these delays is because we can't get a hold of you. I can't tell you how many times we have gotten undeliverable emails. We have gotten disconnected phone numbers, or it goes to voice message and nobody ever contacts us back. And that's because maybe something was missing or a field was blank or we need a little bit more information, and we just can't connect. So that's one of the things that we want to remedy. Is before you leave today, I'm going to throw a form in the chat, and I want everybody to give me their contact information pretty please. And yep, how do we get a hold of you? I'll get there, don't you worry. Yes, we created a new form like yesterday to try to capture your guys' information, and we're actually going to update it in your provider enrollment files so that if we do need to get a hold of you now or in the future, it's right there, it's updated. If you ever have another update in the future, we can do that as well. If you have other points of contact, you're like, hey, I actually work for this big giant organization and we have this office that does all this stuff for us, maybe their information should be in your file also. So we're going to do things like that, hopefully. So let me pull that form up for you just so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'll make sure that before we leave today, you guys have access to that. I don't want to throw you off just yet. Form. Give me one minute.
Crystal, this is Jamie. While you're looking at that, do you mind if I just jump in for just a quick minute?
Go for it. Yep.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had a meeting I just got out of, but I was hoping I could just take like 2 minutes to just introduce myself and thank everybody for the opportunity to be able to come today to discuss some of the provider enrollment processes that we're and some of the challenges that we're facing. So my name is Jamie Walker. I am the account delivery manager with HMS. I've been here since February. We do have some new staffing within our sections. Donald Fanning is our provider enrollment supervisor. He's been on for about 3 weeks now, a little over 3 weeks. And Crystal Nichols has just been appointed our new provider enrollment manager. So we're thrilled for her to be on board and to talk to you today about some of the things that we're doing to make this process more efficient for everybody. Again, I recognize the challenges that the community and the providers are having with regards to provider enrollment. We're working really hard to create some new processes, working very closely with SDS and other stakeholder and sister agencies to discuss this with the teams so that you understand, some of the challenges that we're facing, and then also bringing solutions as to how we can make this process better going forward. It's never our intention to cause any kind of delays for any of the Medicaid beneficiaries or their families or any of the providers that are trying to provide these services. So we did have a communication plan that was sent out at the beginning of June that referenced a lot of our concerns. I can go through that quickly, and then I'll turn it back over to Crystal. And I apologize, Crystal, for jumping in here and maybe potentially using your mojo there. So, but just a quick thing that I think it's important, since I've been here since February, just digging into these processes and identifying some of the challenges that we face. And one of the things that I heard Crystal was saying was with regards to being able to get a hold of folks. 90% or so of our 80 to 90, I would say, from what I'm seeing, of all of the applications that we are receiving are not complete. And excuse me, and they require significant outreach. So that outreach comes into play. And if we don't have updated information in provider enrollment files, it can cause significant delays in processing times. So we're trying to bring a solution today with this new form to try to collect as much information as we can from providers so that we can make sure that we are able to contact somebody quickly and have them turn around the documents that we need. This is a very manual process. Each of our applications can take up to a couple hours over several days, given the unique circumstances and some of the scenarios that are required in order to enroll a provider. We do have multiple ingestion points for submission. This is not any fault of anybody's, but we have to provide opportunities for people to mail, fax. We do have DSM and snail mail, and then a lot of folks drop by our office to drop them off in person. So we have multiple ingestion points. So collecting all those pieces of paper also can contribute to the processing times. With that, we get a lot of duplication submittals, and I get that as well, where you're trying to let us know, like, hey, I've submitted this and I need to submit it again and again. But what that is doing is it's compounding the amount of paper that we're getting, which is also increasing our processing times. We also have, like much of the nation, we're dealing with staff attrition and training of our new staff that we're bringing on board. These are specialized roles, if you will. So, the training can take several weeks to obtain. So, that weighs in. Not one of the highest things of ours, but it weighs into our processing times when we don't have staff on board. So with that, wanted to just, again, introduce myself. I will put my contact information in the chat. I wanted to introduce Crystal as our new manager. And then, as we move forward with some of the solutions, having Crystal talk about that with tightening up our communication, our education, working with SDS closely to collectively streamline the certification and enrollment process that we're dealing with. And then, continue to meet. Crystal will jump into some of the things that we're planning to do here and solutions going forward. But, our goal in the coming months is to reduce our inventory. We want to increase our processing times and, more importantly, just reduce the overall friction that is causing the community. So I will leave it at that. And again, thank you for your time. I recently retired from the state of Alaska after 33 years. The last 6.5 years, I was with the Department of Health. So I know firsthand how important it is for enrolling and revalidating our providers in the community. And I also know firsthand how important it is for these services to be delivered in our community. 1 in 3 Alaskans are on Medicaid across the state. So the activities that we do here are vital. And so I want to just take an opportunity that we fully understand that. We're trying to, provide a better opportunities and more efficiencies as we move forward in the coming weeks and months. So again, I will stop there. Crystal, go ahead and take it away, but I appreciate the time to talk to everybody today.
Awesome. Thank you. And I do have the forms pulled up now, so wonderful. Okay, so let me share my screen. Share. Okay. Can you see a form? Thumbs up, thumbs down, anybody? All right, got a thumbs up, perfect. All right, this is a point of contact update form. Brand new, not even on the market yet. You guys are seeing it for the very, very first time, aside from the state who approved it. So just throwing that out there. Even if you think your contact information is good, maybe you should submit one of these anyway. We'll validate that the contact information, phone number, and email address are valid on your enrollment file. If they are already there, great. Thank you for assisting us with making sure that that's updated. If it's not, we'll get it updated. You can add several points of contact or just one. If you want to remove somebody, like, man, I know I haven't updated that in like 10 years and this person's definitely gone. Let's get that worked out too. The reason I'm saying please do this, even if you feel like you're good. Most individuals haven't touched their contact information since they first enrolled. And that has been part of what we're seeing as a real barrier to assisting you guys with some of these actions. I will say a point of contact is not capable of signing, not necessarily capable of signing all the really important stuff. They can't change your bank account. They can't do anything else, but they can contact us, ask us about statuses, things like that. So it's at least a place to start, especially if we need to get a hold of you. I will put this form in the chat as soon as I'm done going through some of this, and we'll go from there. So the next thing that we're seeing is that you are getting a lot of pushback about authorized representatives, and then I'm seeing the back and forth on what is an authorized representative. I don't even know. That's a great question. When we talked about it yesterday, we were kind of on the fence about what is an authorized representative and had to really nail down those definitions. Okay, so again, I know new stuff, hot off the presses. You've never seen this before, but we'll make sure that this is available to you guys. In general, an authorized representative is legally allowed to make any enrollment changes on your behalf, whether it be servicing address, billing address, claim submission method, even your electronic funds transfers. So really important things for you guys. You don't want just anybody doing that. It really needs to be a legal designee. In general, a general partner, chairman of the board, maybe a CFO or CEO, or a direct owner of at least 5% is already an authorized representative. You don't need to do anything else. However, if you want somebody making some of the simpler changes on your behalf, like an affiliation request or an organization administrator request to get portal access, and you're fine with them doing that, no, I don't need you to go to the direct owner every single time you're going to do that. But you do have to designate them in writing. And that's to cover us and to cover you in case there's any, future anythings down the road. But that way we know, yep, you've designated them. They're good to go. We can put that in your file. And every single time we see their name on a form that you've designated, we can approve it without any other questions. So I know that has come up. We really appreciate you guys at least considering this and seeing if we can't get this moving forward as well. This particular forum, I'm not going to put in chat, but we will post it online here at the end of the day so that it's available for you. And I'll show you where that is. Okay. The next thing that we are seeing is that your applications for maybe some of your new employees are not complete. They're missing something. So we put together this quick little application checklist, depending on whether you're an individual, a group, or even a sole proprietor. You can use this for yourselves. You can use this for other individuals interested in care coordination in general. But these are the things that you're going to need for an individual. You need this agreement, the whole thing, word for word, all blanks filled in. You will need an SDS certification. Now, we are working with our counterparts at SDS to coordinate these actions a little bit smoother. And you'll see that in the coming months as we really hash out what that process looks like. But we do understand that waiting for this thing for several months and then waiting for this thing for a couple more months is really just not ideal. So we're going to work on streamlining both of those processes at the same time. And then same with group and sole proprietor. There are a couple different things that you need. We are seeing, for example, individuals that can bill for them. They own their entity, but they also render services directly. That is a sole proprietor. And we're seeing that they're filling out this form instead of this form or vice versa. And we want to make sure that you guys are very clear on this is what I need to fill out if this is what I'm doing. So I'll make sure that this gets distributed today as well. And then the next thing that we did, and I'll make sure that this gets posted as well. Oh, I have to stop sharing in order to share this because apparently it's in a different thing. Apologize. Share again. There we go. Okay. There have been a lot of questions about who do I contact and when. So one of the things that we pulled together was a quick contact list. For all things provider enrollment status, documentation submissions, general enrollment questions, you really should direct those to provider enrollment. And I have seen your guys' chat going back and forth. I can't get a hold of them. If I stop in directly, I'll get some attention. Okay, let's pause on that for just a second. I just took my position yesterday, but we are going to make some drastic improvements on that within the next week or two. So just give us a chance here on this one. We do want you to call in if it's a simple question or you just want to know the status, because these individuals are going to be able to look at the status and help you with those general questions. I know one of the concerns recently was, well, the people I call don't have access to all of these things. Okay, we heard you on that as well. And as of this morning, they got access to everything I could think of them having access to. So that should be remedied as well. Give them a chance to figure out the file structure, but they do have access. As far as emails are concerned, if it doesn't contain personal health information, PII, PHI, it can come right to our enrollment mailbox. If it's something that contains health information, we ask you, please use the direct secure messaging. This is a little bit different than what many care coordinators are used to. You do have to have an account with the Health e-Network. And there is an annual fee of $75, but it's not just to communicate with us at HMS. It's also you can use it to communicate with other providers across the board. There are many providers in Alaska that have these accounts. For example, many of the hospitals, many of the specialists. so you can communicate back and forth with them. Also, many individuals at the state of Alaska have access to this as well. So it's not just to communicate with us, it's a one-time enrollment fee annually to communicate with anybody in that network, and it's a vast network. So if you're interested in that, you may do that as well. One thing I don't, please don't do this, because we have had this happen as well, is don't send secure, like encrypted messages to this distribution box. Geesh, this distribution box. I can see that I got it, and it's timestamped, and it's very pretty, but all it says is encrypted. And because I'm not a direct recipient, because there is no one named AK enrollment, I can't open it. Nobody on my team can open it. It's really unfortunate. I think it's a design flaw in Outlook, but we really can't. So we're asking you, please don't do that. If it needs to be encrypted, this is definitely a method that can be used. We also have fax. I should add fax to this, you guys. I'll make sure that gets handled. So we also have fax options as well. If it's a general Alaska Medicaid question or a claim question, absolutely call provider inquiry. They can get you the general assistance you need if you're trying to figure out why you're having claim denials, or you really want like some kind of training. Like, I want to submit claims in the portal, but I have no idea how to do that. You can enlist our enhanced provider services to assist you with that by emailing them at ak-eps@gainwelltechnologies.com. And they'll be able to assist you with those more advanced, complex questions or requests, or they'll be able to distribute it to the individuals that can help you directly. And then home and community-based waiver service providers, including care coordinators, have a direct point of contact, and that is Sunshine. And her email address is here. So if you guys have very specific questions about your services, you can reach out to her. If she can't assist you because it's like another area, she will definitely coordinate that for you. And then the last little tidbit I want to throw in there is for provider enrollment subject lines. We get hundreds, sometimes upwards of 1,000 documents in a single week. One of the ways that we are able to more quickly disperse them to the correct staff to be able to process them is by using an automated naming convention. So if you send us an email directly to provider enrollment, it would be very helpful if you follow our subject line naming convention. Provider name goes at the beginning, your specific name, your agency's name, just something that we could identify you if we need to. Brief topic. What is it about? Is it a new application status? Are you sending us some kind of business license update? Is it about a revalidation? Just something quick so that, you know, if something goes down, we can still find it pretty quickly. And then this is probably the most critical piece of this whole thing, because it's going to help us automatically attach it to your specific file so that I know care coordination agency this sent me this today. And it will get attached directly to your file, and I can find it right away. It does have to be in this exact format though, so please take note of that. APP, the red will be either an app ID, application ID, if it's something you're inquiring about or submitting to us. Those are 6 digits. And then a provider ID, which is 7 digits, if it's about an existing provider ID, and then hyphen AK. I know that sounds kind of silly, but trust me, it goes a long way to helping us find your documentation and act on it quickly, if you follow those simple rules right there. And I will make sure that everybody in this group gets access to this particular document. I do need to add the fax information though, so I'll make sure I do that first. Okay. So back to the other things. So there are two other big things that we have noted as needing some love on our end, not you guys. Okay. Share my screen again. Oh, helps if I hit share, you guys. Silly. All right. One of the things that we have noted is that more than half, and that's not even an exaggeration, more than half of the application forms we get have one or more missing fields. That's a big deal because we can't process them if it's missing a piece of information that's critical. These are akin to tax forms. So we need to make sure that all of the information on here is compliant with all the requirements in order to distribute funds, process claims, things like that. So one of the things that we have done to kind of better facilitate getting these completed the first time is numbering fields so that you can see there really is number 1, a number 2, number 3, number 4. In fact, this one right here, this legal name, is the most missed field on this form, period. So we want to make sure that you guys really, really saw it and actually complete it. Aside from numbering the fields, another thing that we put together, and we can refine this as we get additional feedback from you guys, but putting together instructions similar to some of the other forms that we already have out there. Provider type. What type of provider are you trying to be? These are not specific to care coordinator, so you really do have to specify, I'm trying to be this. Provider name. Make sure that your whole name is on there, or your whole business name, or however you want it to appear. Legal name, how it's going to be seen on your tax forms. Federal tax classification. So those types of things are going to be added on here. And we've done that for the group one as well. Hopefully you can see that I just switched that. This one has a couple more instructions, but at the same time, we have numbered that one as well, making sure that you guys very clearly see everything that needs to be filled in a little bit easier. We're hoping that that will streamline some of the issues that we're seeing on our end as well. Okay. And then the last thing that we have made an update to is, oh, 2 updates. I'm sorry. I'll pull that other one up in just a second. We have made a drastic change to the update provider information request form. Many of you are probably familiar with this because this is what you used to use to make affiliation requests. Look, it's not there anymore. That's because we have gotten a lot of feedback from you guys on how that process works and created something completely separate for you. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Some of the things that we were noticing people missing quite often were that there were 4 separate addresses on here. Some of you would update 1, maybe 2, but you would forget the checkbox that applied to mailing and or publication distribution. So if you're trying to change all 4, we want to make it very clear that there are 4. And you can put same as servicing if it's the same as all of them, but we would really need to see that so that we know that that needs to be changed as well. This specifically mailing address goes along with some of the feedback we've gotten from the provider community. I had no idea this was about to expire, or I had no idea my revalidation was due because I never got anything. Well, you did. It went to your old mailing address and you have since changed it, and we were not notified of that. So those are the types of things that we're trying to get rid of now. If you want to change just a phone number or just an email address, we've added those as well. So that should be a little bit clearer for you guys and easier to understand. And then let me pull up the affiliation form. Okay. My screen one more time. Wonderful. Some of you want to make a lot of changes all at once, and that is totally fine. We encourage that, but it's probably really annoying to have to do one form at a time for every single change you're trying to do because there was only like 2 spots at the bottom, right? Now you can do them all in one go. And you can do it from a group ID, or if you have several locations, you can say, I just added this new employee and they might need to be affiliated with all these groups. So now it goes both directions as opposed to one group ID, one thing, that route. You can specify add or remove on each one of them and an effective date, which does not have to be the same across the board, and as many names or IDs as you want. So we're hoping that this helps you guys a little bit when trying to submit these so that we can get them done quicker and it's a little bit less work for you as far as filling out each individual form and then getting somebody to sign it and so on and so forth. So those are the forms that we're trying to work through. Like I said, before we all leave this group, I want you guys to take a look at the point of contact form that I will place here in the chat. And for every point of contact form that I get via email, and let me put my email in here. For every point of contact form, there are a couple things that we would like to do. We're going to update your point of contact information, hands down. If we get a form, we're going to validate that it's either correct or updated if it's not correct, period. One of the things we would like to do, if you are a group and you have any affiliations whatsoever, if you want a current affiliation report that will show everybody that's affiliated to that specific billing ID, it'll show the provider name, provider NPI if applicable, the provider Medicaid ID, and this is all rendering providers that are affiliated to the billing group, their revalidation date, and any certification information if they have it. So I know that doesn't necessarily apply to care coordinators, but let's say you have other services in your purview as well. We can do that for any and all the groups you have. Backup care coordinators. In order to bill for them, they would have to be enrolled and affiliated, whether they're backup or not. So just so we're clear on that, if you're billing for them, they need to be on your file and they need to be attached. So if you want to know who's currently attached to your file and who you could bill for today, we'll send you a complete report for every single billing ID you have. I need you guys to tell me that that's what you want though, and we'll get that sorted. If you need to make changes to the spreadsheet report that we're going to give you, all you need to do is make that change on that report. I'm going to give you this particular form, the change affiliation request with it. And all you need to do is fill out this top, send me back your spreadsheet. See, it mentioned spreadsheet. And then sign it at the bottom, and I will process anything and everything on that report. Okay. We want to get your files clean, all of it, all the way through right now. And we're trying a little bit different approach. At the same time, once you send those back as affiliation reports, if you feel there are any, backing up, when I send you an affiliation report, I'm also going to list any pending actions we have for you or anybody associated with you that we are currently in the process of doing that we haven't been able to reach you on, such as a missing document or a correction to a form, something along those lines. And that can be across the board. Applications, any kind of provider updates, affiliations. So when you're doing all of this, I want to fix it all in one go. We're just going to have a checklist. And if you send me all those things all in one go, we're going to process everything all in one go. Does that make sense? Hopefully. I'll let you guys ask questions in a minute. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. So where do I request an affiliation report for our agency? I'm going to send you the point of contact form in the chat here in a second, and you're going to send it back and request it at the same time. Okay. I want to make sure that we have direct communication, that the emails that we're using are good. And then when we make all those requests and send each other reports and documentation, that we have positive contact and that we're fixing things the first time and getting it done. Because I know that that has been a struggle for all of you and us too. We're trying to reach you. I promise you that. So let's work through this stuff and affiliation reports with this form, and I will send very specific instructions. This is what I would like you to do with this information I'm sending you. Please send it back. And then we'll go from there. I see a lot of questions. So how do you, does anybody else have any questions? I see a lot of chat. Oh my goodness.
This is Delight, one of the SDS trainers, and we haven't gotten your PDF of the contacts. We would love for that to be dropped into the chat so that we could have a copy of that for folks that aren't able to attend today. They can request it from SDS training and we can give it to them if that comes up. If they're viewing it through this info share, and also so that the folks that are online today can download it for themselves. I'm sure many of you took screenshots because I know that's how many of you roll. Well, yeah,
I'll definitely make this document available to you guys. One thing I noted on that particular one was that I have to add the fax information. So let me do that real fast. Dang it. Just when you think you got it. Told you, we've been really busy the last week. Trying to get all these things rounded up for you guys. See, fax information.
This is Kara with SDS. How can people get these documents? We do a follow-up email to everybody who's on the call.
Yep.
Giving them credit for taking this as education.
Oh, very
And
cool.
we don't have any copies of any of these documents yet. So if you
I know, because they were approved
us,
like 20 minutes ago. So I will make sure that, Kara, I will send you directly, once all the hyperlinks are active, links to every single document that I've shown you, so that you can distribute that to everybody. And we'll make sure that everybody on the call has it. The one thing I want to leave you all with, though, for real, is the contact sheet, and also so the contact list, who to contact, and then the update your information pretty please request. Okay, so let me save this as a PDF real fast.
Still, one of the other things that we had talked about moving forward is possibly hosting a mini workshop for the care coordinators on this call so that we can walk through from beginning, from submission to, to end as far as the application goes. We are still planning to do that, correct?
Yes, we are. We are planning to do that.
So we'll need to identify a date here, Kara, that works best to have an additional opportunity to come together for that, to just have screenshots, walk through the application step by step from beginning to end. I think that would be very helpful.
Let's talk about that via email outside the session.
Sure.
It says I saved it, but it won't tell me where I saved it. Give me 1 second. It's opened. Well, this is kind of silly.
That's all right, Crystal. What we can do is maybe answer some of the questions, and then we'll make sure that Kara gets all of the forms that you produced today.
Oh, found it. I found it. Okay, there is the contact list. Okay, and then the other one. Sorry about that. I was like, I don't know what I did with it, you guys. I'm so sorry. Random folders. We know how that goes, right? Is over here. Okay, it says it's loading in the little chat box, so give it just a second.
I see that Susie has her hand up. If that's okay, if we can have Susie. Do you want to say something, Susie?
Thank you, Delight. I was just wanting to say thank you to Crystal for being here at this meeting and showing us all of these new forms and being the new contact. Congratulations on the new position. And also wanted to just ask, are you also the contact for the MCI numbers for PCA providers?
Yes, and we're going to be doing this same type of thing for PCA providers separately. It's just a matter of getting you guys in the room together.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we'll be doing the same thing. These points of contacts and even the affiliation reports, we're going to do the exact same process with them. That's why I kind of said earlier, if you happen to have both, feel free to send update requests for both and affiliation report requests for both, and we'll get that squared away.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, I think both of those loaded.
We're out there.
Can somebody confirm that?
Yep.
They're loaded.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Like I have a green check mark. I don't know. I did put my email address, but we got so many chats at the same time. I don't know if you guys found it. So let me just put it in there one more time. Okay. So please, please, please update your information. I really, really want to get a hold of you so that we can finish some of these things. So this point I can complete for a whole agency and request an affiliate report. Yes, you can do it for the whole agency. And if you have individual care coordination or care coordinators affiliated with you, we can do that on our end. You just gotta just let me know. We'll work it out, promise. And then you'll get an entire affiliation report. The affiliation reports are specific to the billing entity, whoever the group is. I'll pull a report for the group, and then that will show you everybody that you can bill for under that group. If they're not there, you can't bill for them, even if they exist somewhere. That would suggest that you need to do some kind of affiliation action. And I will have a set list of instructions for you on how to process your report if you send me a request for one. All right. Any other questions?
Crystal, one of the questions I'm seeing in the chat is with regard to revalidation dates. So do you want to touch on our website where folks can find that?
Yes, I will go to the website in just a second. This is why do you not connect with the agency to which they're affiliated? The way revalidation mailings work is that whatever address is on file for that individual is where it goes. Sometimes they list the address of a prior employer and don't ever update us. We've noticed that that has been a trend in the recent past. There's no way to really send it to all agencies that they work for, but this group report that you're going to get will show you everybody that is affiliated with you, and it does show their specific revalidation due dates. So everybody that works under you, you'll be able to see it right away. Okay, let me go to the website real fast because I know that there was a couple questions about that.
And you want us to email this personally to you, Jamie, or do you want us to put it in the chat box?
The address information, contact information.
Yes.
Oh, send it to me.
Crystal, send that directly to Crystal Nichols.
Oh, Crystal.
Yep, that'd be great.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
thank you.
I know that's going to be a lot of emails, and that is okay. We are trying to get these processed and fixed. All right. This is our website, medicaidalaska.com. If you go to the provider tab, all of the forms that I have shown you guys today will, hopefully by the end of today, be here on the provider enrollment forms tab. The rest of this takes a little bit more like coding because it has to be hard coded in HTML, et cetera, et cetera. So we will work through this, and by the end of this week, yes, even with the holiday, the rest of this will be updated to be a little bit more helpful, but they will all live right here, provider enrollment forms. And then as far as revalidations, yes, you can ask for an affiliation report. You can ask for it right now, but then in the future, if it's something you want to ask for every single week, maybe the future ones don't ask me. You ask your point of contact, Sunshine. She'll be glad to assist you with that, but it's a report that we can all pull. And you can validate it every week if you want to. And it does have all your revalidation information. At the same time, we do have, not that one, up here, the actual revalidation report, but it has every single enrolled provider in Alaska. So still relatively useful, especially if they're not quite affiliated to you yet. Okay, I don't think I shared my screen right so you can see that. So you'll be able to see that every single enrolled provider is on here, group or individual. You can search by their provider ID, their name, doing business as name. And if maybe there's two individuals with the same name, you can use provider service type to kind of differentiate which one it might be. That does happen, even at the beginning, that's kind of happening. So use this for what it is. But I think that affiliation report, especially for you guys, will be a little bit more useful and easier to digest. So things to consider. Oh, and the super helpful presentation. Marilee, are you able to show everybody where you put that? Because she did do a wonderful job, and I really do want you guys to see all of this.
Crystal, we're coming up on the 5-minute mark.
Yep, that was the
Yes.
last thing.
Okay.
Promise.
I can do that. And thank you, Crystal, very much. Okay, guys, to get to the enrollment training that is specific for you, for care coordinators, this is MedicaidAlaska.com. Are you seeing it?
Yep.
Okay, great. So MedicaidAlaska.com, to get to the training materials, you would go to documentation and then training. And this is the upcoming training schedule. So if you have staff that need to know about claims management or adjustments or eligibility or whatever, this is where you can see when those classes are happening. To get to the training presentations, you click on this button over here to the right. This is all of our materials. And for the care coordination provider enrollment training that was just specifically constructed for you, it is down here under special interests. So you just want to look for provider enrollment for care coordinators. This was just put together. This is new. This is up to date. So you can scroll through here and look at all the general information. You can also just kind of skip ahead to the fields and to the values you need to fill in. There's information about how to submit your documentation. So you can upload it when you get to the end of your enrollment. We've got information about here. Nope, that's still more of that. Here is a tool to find out what documents you need in addition to that great list, that checklist that Crystal gave you. So this is out on the enrollment page. This is where you can upload your documents. Here's also information about sending things via DSM. So all kinds of great things about how to enroll, all the steps, a look at revalidation. So all of that is there for you. I also did see a real quick note that somebody asked for a redo on how to get to those forms in that revalidation list Crystal showed you earlier. All the enrollment stuff, MedicaidAlaska.com, that same page you would log in to put your claims in, check eligibility, etc. You would go to provider, and this is Enrollment Central. So all the enrollment forms are going to be down here on provider enrollment forms. That little tool I showed you to find your list of what you need to submit is here. So you would go to the choose an option drop down and you would just choose care coordination agency or group, sole proprietor, care coordinator, and you will see the list of documents that you need. The ones that are our documents, you'll see in blue here and you'll see a link and you can just go right out to the document itself. Things like your business license, we would not have. So that's just listed there. And that list that Crystal was showing you earlier, you would find over here under time to revalidate. We have that list as a PDF or as an Excel, and you can get on there and find yourself or find your employees or your teammates, however you want to do that. And then when it's time to look for those forms, those are on the revalidation page. So here's the applications, any applicable addendums. So all of that is right there for you, and that's just right on the provider tab. But for the training materials, documentation, training, and then the presentations, and that's where you'll find that enrollment document just for you. And if you have questions about training, this contact us link will get an email to me. You can also ask Crystal. She is central contact for anything to do with enrollment. So she's going to be your biggest help there, but you can also contact me for any training needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Marilee. I just want to leave you guys with a huge thank you for the turnout, especially SDS for coordinating that. I've already gotten 6 requests, so keep them coming. We're trying to get this fixed, and we're trying to get it fixed fast. And one of the ways to do that is to get your assistance with that, quite frankly. So I really appreciate you guys and your willingness to work with us to get this done. And 7, just got my 7th. Thank you guys. So really glad for the opportunity to talk with you, and I know that we'll talk again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Crystal and team. We're coming up here just at the end of our session. Care coordinators, actually all attendees, you'll get my email that says keep this email with your CEH credit attached. Also, this video will be posted on our SDS training YouTube site. Give us a bit. It takes a little bit of time for it to process and upload, and sometimes even takes overnight. But look for that coming to your email. CEH is available to each individual person who attended the webinar session. And of course, it's only relevant to you if you're a care coordinator, but it's all good. Thanks again for this great update. And we look forward to working towards getting this great information out in the future too. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll go ahead and close our session. Goodbye for now.